Very good morning to you. It is 7 a.m. Monday, November 24th, 2025. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Sunny but windy today, highs upper 40s. We head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a first check of the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
All right, Mike. So lots of sunshine, but the occasional gusts of 25 to 30 is going to wake you up.
It'll get breezy, and this has been the theme so far this fall, Ken. Lots of wind, and we get another round of gusty winds this morning. But it is a shortened work week, so you head out and enjoy what will be, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then most are off going into the upcoming holiday weekend. Starting off very chilly right now, with temperatures holding in the 30s back by Morris County, 43 over in Newark, and 34 down the shore, 41 over in Ship Bottom. There's enough wind to add to that wind chill, makes it feel a touch cooler. So it does feel like just below freezing in Morristown on the green, up towards Sussex, 39 degrees, 35 in Hackensack, and 33 in Long Branch. Well, obviously, where it's windier, you have a little bit more of a wind chill. Although we are running a little bit milder than this time yesterday, that won't last because there's a big rush of cold air coming in just in time for Thursday, making it feel quite chilly after what will be a milder next few days. Take a look at these forecast wind gusts today, upwards of about 20, 25 miles per hour, like Ken was mentioning. And then the winds calm down tonight. They relax, bringing in a little bit of a southerly breeze for tomorrow. That south wind helps to push the temperatures into the upper 50s, near 60 by the time we get to Wednesday. So yeah, it'll be breezy even later tomorrow night with those gusts approaching 35 miles per hour, but coming off of the water, not terribly chilly. Then we head into Wednesday evening and the winds move in from the west. That is the cold front pushing on through, and you will see the drop in temperatures going from the upper 40s and low 50s today, so a little bit closer to average. Then we cool off a little bit for tomorrow. The reason for that being a little bit of light rain that comes in, especially later on in the afternoon. Could get a few early morning dry spots, but predominantly it's a wet day tomorrow with that rain moving in the afternoon. And then Wednesday, have the residual showers. Look at that, 60, 63 by Wednesday afternoon. And then the bottom falls out from underneath us. Watch as these temperatures go from the upper 50s right down into the freezer, down into the 30s by early Thursday morning. So yeah, the turkey might be refrozen if you left it to thaw outside, because it'll be very chilly throughout the afternoon Thursday, and those gusty winds on Thanksgiving Day making it feel even colder. The next few days featuring a little bit of a milder trend, wet though, especially beginning tomorrow afternoon, and then much colder by Thursday morning. So those headed to the parade, maybe, I don't know, maybe want to think twice. I personally, I'd want to stay in the warm comfort of your home, sipping the hot cocoa, maybe the hot apple cider, trying to stay warm because it's going to be chilly come Thursday morning.
Heck, I'll even take cold apple cider over standing in the wind there in the parade. I just hope it's not too windy so they can get the balloons up. That's all. So we'll see what happens, because they can get up to 25 gusts, right? I think that's the gust max. There's like a rule that they can only have gusts of up to a certain speed, or else they can't march with
Yeah.
the balloons. So
Yeah,
fingers
and there's
crossed.
also the
Nobody
height
might be.
restriction too. So they'll fly, but they may not fly as high. So there's all the
Right.
different parameters that they look at.
That's the benefit of having done this 90 times, right? They know all the pluses and minuses,
99,
and
right?
they
Is it
said
99? 99?
99. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. This is because I was there for the first. So you think I wasn't. All right, Mike, we'll check back, buddy. I appreciate you. It is 7:04, chilly 34 degrees northern New Jersey. In Trenton, it's 38, and it's 37 in Cape May, 37 in Vineland right now. In terms of traffic, let's go over to the New Jersey Turnpike if we can. There's a crash with property damage on the Turnpike outer roadway. There it is right there. It's I don't know. There's the down pole. See, so when we say property damage, that's what they're talking about. So right there, you see the downed electric pole. So sometimes it's something big that involves a lot of vehicles. Sometimes it's something relatively minor, but nonetheless, they have to take care of that. And people going slower on the bend, it's not causing any major issues, but we have to let you know. So a crash with property damage, Turnpike outer roadway, exiting interchange 11, Garden State and Woodbridge with that right shoulder blocked. Again, not causing any issues right now. That's good news. We do have a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound, though, north of exit 144 in Newark with the left lane blocked. That is causing issues. I'll get you a traffic cam for that in 15 minutes. We do have a crash also on Route 27 northbound south of Claremont Mountain Road in Franklin Township. All lanes closed there. Over to 295 northbound, south of exit 67, US 1 in Lawrence. The right shoulder's closed, and there's the damage. You can see everybody on the right side stopping as they try to make their way over to the left. So that's going to be a while there with that residual delay. And on the Garden State again, we go back with a crash northbound, north of exit 137, Route 28 Cranford. All lanes open, but causing some delay. So you have issues again, 137 and 144 in both cases on the Garden State Parkway. So just be aware of that. Over to the Hudson River crossings right now, we're told the Holland Tunnel is about 25 minutes into Manhattan. The Lincoln Tunnel is 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower right now, they have this weird shot for us, kind of a wide shot, but you can see it's heavy, but it is crawling. So they're giving it 35 to 40 to get into Manhattan. 7:06 right now is our time on your Monday morning, and a 17-year-old from Mays Landing is charged with murder after allegedly stabbing his 49-year-old mother, Julissa Serrano. Police responded to a 911 call at the Meadowbrook condos where they say the teen had a knife. Serrano was found in the home with several stab wounds. She later died at a hospital. The teen faces murder and lesser charges. He's being held at the Atlantic Youth Center until his court appearance. The Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office is asking anyone with information to contact them. Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill floated the idea that New Jersey could withhold federal tax payments. Her comments came during a conversation on Jon Stewart's podcast where she critiqued the federal government for not delivering on promised services. Sherrill said she thinks about withholding federal taxes, quote, all the time, and described it as, quote, a great idea. The underlying frustration is that New Jersey pays more in federal taxes than it receives back. That's according to the Rockefeller Institute. See, this is part of the federalist tax system, though. What Mikey will find out, because I guess as never having been governor before and never having read history, Mikey doesn't get it, that some states pay more in taxes, other states pay less, because then 10 years from now, ostensibly, it could be flipped. New Jersey is losing population. Florida, Texas, et cetera, they're gaining population. So as the people move south, they will then pay more federal taxes there, and New Jersey will pay less. And so it all balances out. I love that this is coming from a liberal where their sentiment always is, let's take from everybody who's making money and give over here. But when it comes to states, where you have states generating tax revenue, they don't like the idea of New Jersey giving more money to the federal government and getting less back. Hey, lady, that is what you liberals vote for and live for, taking from this and giving to that. Well, if New Jersey right now gives a little more than it gets back, that may change. And in history, there were times when it was just the opposite. So the other thing is states like Florida and Texas have more people who join the military and die in war than people from New Jersey. So it's give and take. Everybody's balanced out. You also have states that endure more chemicals in the air, like in Texas with the refineries, than in New Jersey. Everybody gives and takes, Mikey. So before you say we're not going to give as much and withhold our federal payments, you try doing that, you'll have U.S. troops at drum thwacket coming and taking you in shackles to a prison. So go ahead, Mikey. I'd love to see you try that. She's not even in office yet, and she doesn't even know what she's talking about. That was who you voted for, folks. The sentiment echoes a similar proposal from the nuts in California and the governor there, Gavin Newsom. Though legal and practical obstacles, of course, make it impossible. The issue of federal funding cuts, especially for projects like the Gateway Tunnel, that was a major factor in Sherrill's recent gubernatorial campaign. But the Gateway Tunnel will impact everybody on the whole eastern seaboard, not just New Jersey. The late Sheila Oliver, New Jersey's first Black lieutenant governor, was inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame, and rightly so. Governor Murphy praised Oliver's legacy. John Bon Jovi personally inducted his longtime bandmate, David Bryan, who grew up in Edison, into the hall. The Jonas Brothers, friends of this show, Kevin, Joe, and Nick, were also honored. They pay homage to their New Jersey roots, with Nick praising Jersey grit. And Senator Cory Booker inducted John Bon Jovi's wife, Dorothea, for her nonprofit work through JBJ Soul Kitchen, which is just amazing. There's Dorothea on the right side of the screen to John Bon Jovi's left. And great New Jersey people they are. They no matter what you think of politics, you can't find some better New Jersey people who love their state and love the citizens more than Bon Jovi, the Jonas Brothers. God bless them all. Great people who've stayed in New Jersey. They could go anywhere they want. They stay in New Jersey because they love the state. Good for you. It is 7:10 right now. A fire broke out just after 9 a.m. Saturday. It happened at a duplex on Stiles Street in Elizabeth. The heavy smoke and flames forced the folks living there to run for their lives. Some tenants had to jump from windows to escape. A nearby doorbell cam captured a man with arms outstretched beneath a window. About a dozen people were displaced. Some had to be hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. 80 firefighters from nearly a dozen companies responded with that fire spread from the first floor all the way to the attic. The Red Cross now helping people to try to find a place to stay. They certainly can't stay there anymore. Officials say the home may need to be demolished entirely, and investigators are trying to determine a cause. The state of New Jersey has awarded a total of $1.25 million to colleges in order to help deal with the issue of food insecurity. The grants were part of the Hunger Free Campus Act, and the award was divided among 36 colleges throughout the state to support campus-based resources, including food pantries. In total, the state has invested $6.4 million over the last 6 years to address food insecurity among college students under the act. Findings from OSHA's spring 2025 Student Food Security Survey of almost 12,000 students show that half of Pell receiving respondents were food insecure. Holiday generosity last week. A ShopRite of West Caldwell, brand new place there, joined Newark Mayor Ross Baraka at Wequahic High School for a Thanksgiving food distribution event. Nearly 6,000 families received turkeys, Cornish hens, sides, meal kits, and desserts. The store's CFO, Ned Gladstein, participated, representing a family with more than 80 years in Essex County. The newly opened ShopRite store at 900 Bloomfield Ave, I've been there, it's gorgeous, donated several hundred turkeys. HelloFresh and Bindi North America also contributed. And Maplewood Memorial Library Director Sarah Lester and the design team from Sage and Coombe Architects were recognized at the 2025 Sarah National Design Awards Gala earlier this month at the National Building Museum in Washington, D.C. Lester and architects Jennifer Sage, Peter Coombe, Christina Draghi, and Lee Kuhn received an honors award for the design of the mid-20th century design. Really, really cool stuff. And by the way, check this out. There was a message, FAFO, sent to anti-ICE protesters in North Carolina. Check out this video. An 18-year-old decided she would throw a cup of soda on the top of a cop's head. Found out the quick way if you want to get arrested. Let's see if we can do it before the break. Come on, come on, come on. This is how you will get arrested. Let's do it right into the break. She does it right there, and she gets arrested. Stupid move. We'll be back in 10 seconds.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings for your Monday. I'm Ken Rosato, 7:15, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Sunny and windy today. Highs upper 40s. We'll go straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta in just 5 seconds with the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So I fibbed at 7.5 seconds. I'm close, close, like
Very
that.
close.
So yeah, really. It's going to be nice, but you'll get that little surprising gust of whoa. Where did that come from? Right? It's not constant, but little gusts throughout the day. So wear the
True,
jacket
and
if you're
that'll make
thinking
it
not to.
feel. It will. It'll make it feel that much colder, especially as we head into tomorrow. You see the temperature that climbs into the 60s by Wednesday and then go, oh, wait, but it's going to rain. So adding to the kind of ick factor by the middle of the week. However, Thanksgiving Day, very sunny, but much colder. This afternoon, we actually make it into the low 50s again, feeling pretty until you get a gust of breeze with a 51-degree high in Long Branch. Same for you in New Brunswick. Just a pretty feeling all around. The wind chill, however, makes it feel like the 40s and then the 30s later on tonight. So another round of very chilly air coming in for tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, a little bit of less wind, and then we have temperatures that make it into the mid 50s. So a little bit better, even down toward Trenton and Flemington by Wednesday, 60s or better. So plenty of mild weather before the temperatures come crashing down. Look at these temperatures down in the 20s, low 20s on Thanksgiving morning, even some teens possible with those winds. And yeah, it'll feel quite chilly with those wind gusts. Oh, I wanted to show you this because I found the wind gusts for Thursday morning. We'll take you throughout the day on Tuesday. We get some gusty winds tomorrow and then sporadic winds on Wednesday. But Wednesday night, you see those winds starting to howl, gusting upwards of 21 to 31 miles per hour there around the city. And then just as the parade gets going, lining up at 7 a.m., could be some gusts anywhere from 17 to 20 miles per hour. So right on the cusp of keeping those balloons a little bit lower throughout the duration of the parade. By 10 a.m. could have gusts up to about 21 miles per hour. So yes, it's something they'll be watching, as it'll be breezy but not terribly windy. And we've certainly had windier Thanksgivings where the balloons have flown. So not too concerned about that. Going into the rest of the day, have a few clouds passing through, but most of these snow showers stay well to our north upstate. We'll be nice and dry through this afternoon and bring back lovely round of weekend weather with temperatures holding in the 40s. So a chilly forecast ahead for the weekend. That cold is kind of digging its heels in as we head into December, Ken. The December forecast is coming up on the 7-day. I know. It's just the year is flying by.
Tell me about it. My gosh, yeah. I mean, I remember in July. Do you remember what I said? I said when we were going to we had like how many days of 90s, 90 in temperature. I
Yes.
said, you know what? In December, January, we're going to be saying, do you remember back in July when we were complaining about the 90s? We're going to be complaining about the single digits. So there you have it. Although Pam, our director, saying I will never complain about the single digits. She was born in an igloo, and that's a whole other story we can get into. All right, Mike, we'll check back, sir. Thank you. 34 degrees in northern New Jersey, 38 in Trenton, 37 both in Vineland and Cape May right now. Let's go over to 495 if we shall. There is a crash on 495 just before the helix. It's eastbound by the exit ramp from the New Jersey Turnpike in North Bergen. The right lane is blocked. Sorry for the sun glare, but you could see the damage there with the traffic trying to make their way along on 495 toward the Lincoln Tunnel. We also have a disabled vehicle on 195 eastbound at exit 6, New Jersey Turnpike in Robbinsville. The right shoulder closed there. Crash on Route 27, both directions south of Claremont Road in Franklin. All lanes closed. Always having issues there. Like literally 3 days a week, we have issues at that point. There's a crash with injuries, Route 91, both directions, south of Howe Lane, H-O-W, Howe, like how? How did you do that? Lane in North Brunswick, all lanes closed. So that's Route 91 in North Brunswick. Beware of that. Over to the Garden State Parkway, if we can. We have two different issues. So this first one right here is a delays due to, if we could pick up that Garden State cam. There you go. So we have, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So we have some delays, and that is southbound from south of exit 149, Bloomfield, to south of 147, Clinton Avenue. They're saying all lanes are open, but a 2-mile delay, and you can kind of see toward the top upper right where that occurs. And you could stay on that cam for 1 second, Pam, because there's another issue just about 4 miles away from there. Crash on the Garden State southbound north of exit 144 in Irvington. And that issue has all lanes open, but people kind of rubbernecking, slowing down through there. Crash on 295 northbound south of exit 67, Route 1 Lawrence with the right shoulder closed there. Delays at the Holland right now, 25 to 30, Lincoln 35 to 40. That's partly due to the issue at 495 that we just showed you a moment ago. And George Washington Bridge upper and lower level approaches still heavy. And you could see that's going to cost you 40 to 45 in at least. The lower level there on the right side is what you're looking at. It is 7:21 right now, and the FBI missed a number of opportunities to stop Thomas Crooks before he tried to assassinate President Trump. Last week, published reports showed there were multiple extremist social media posts believed to be tied to Crooks, including a number of threats of political violence and a dramatic shift against Trump. Apparently, Crooks was initially very pro-Trump, and in a matter of a few months, he went from being extremely pro-Trump to extremely anti-Trump. Experts say that constitutes a miss on the part of the FBI. Among the disturbing posts that were recently revealed were comments on YouTube that included, quote, "The only way to fight the gov is with terrorism-style attacks, track down any important leaders and try to assassinate them." You can see Tucker Carlson revealed a lot of that on his podcast. A former deputy director of the FBI suggested that former director Christopher Wray was a Trump-hating liberal who was desperate to paint Trump's would-be assassin as a far-right lone gunman, something that he was before he tried to attack Trump. So this was a deliberate attempt on the part of Wray to paint this guy as a right-wing extremist. When he was right-wing, he was not an extremist. When he was right-wing, he never talked about attacking anyone. It was when he shifted left that he determined he would try to kill people, and in this case, try to shoot Trump. And this isn't just some right-wing extremist theory here. This is based on his own writings. Crooks wrote on social media for the world to see. Once he shifted to the left and started hating the right, that's when he started talking about assassinations and killing people, etc. But Christopher Wray, the FBI director who hated Trump and people on the right, only talked about the fact that this kid at one point was pro-Trump and conveniently left all the other stuff out. So now that's being investigated by the FBI because clearly he tipped the scales on the investigation, bearing information that showed Crooks had shifted to left-wing extremism. 7:23, what should have been a time of peace turned into an evening of mayhem. Chicago is back to being crazy, and this is another issue. This is in Concord, North Carolina. We had shootings at two different Christmas tree lightings. So this one was in Concord, North Carolina, Friday night. It's about 30 miles northeast of Charlotte. Two victims are identified as only 17 years old. They've already been released from the hospital. Police say two suspects who know each other, they were gangbangers allegedly. They decided to shoot up the place with innocents in the way. 18-year-old Nasir Ahmad Bostic and an unidentified minor who is 17. They were critically injured in the shooting. They've been hospitalized. Authorities say Bostic will be charged when he is released. The 17-year-old was already released last night, and he has been charged. Hundreds of people had gathered in the area for the celebration when they heard the shots. A third suspect, identified as 17-year-old Kavion Rayshond Bostic, has been charged as an adult in connection with the incident. 7:24, Vice President Vance said yesterday 6 Democratic lawmakers violated the law by telling service members to disobey illegal orders. Earlier this week, the Democrat lawmakers directly addressed active duty military and intelligence personnel in a video on X saying, quote, "Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders." The question is, what were the illegal orders? So apparently, one of the 6 Democrats, Senator Alyssa Slotkin, was on ABC's This Week with Martha Raddatz, and she told Martha Raddatz she's not aware of any illegal military actions authorized by Trump. So if that's the case, why would you put out online videos saying don't obey illegal orders if there are no illegal orders, which is only confusing to military members? And Vice President Vance says this may very well be illegal because it could be considered traitorous. Treacherous actually comes from that word. Later, President Trump, by the way, posted this is seditious behavior punishable by death. And actually, everyone attacked him saying Trump is trying to kill Democrats. But being a traitor constitutionally calls for being hung. So Trump is only quoting the Constitution. If you're telling members of the military to disobey orders of their commanders, and you're saying that there is nothing illegal being ordered, you are a traitor. It's sedition. You talk about Republicans and insurrection in January 6th. That's insurrection. You're telling these members of the military who are paid and they take an oath to stand up against their commander in chief. That is treason and sedition. Look it up. So these six should be investigated at the very least for suggesting what they're suggesting. 725, the 26-year-old woman who police say was set on fire by a lunatic with a lengthy rap sheet on a Chicago L train earlier this month has been identified as Bethany McGee. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said yesterday on social media the career criminal with 72 prior arrests. This is what Chicago does with people who have 72 prior arrests. Nothing. If you're a tax-paying innocent person, you could go to hell. But if you're a criminal with 72 prior arrests, let them go free because they happen to be poor, disenfranchised people who don't have equity. So now the federal government had to step into Chicago, and they have charged 50-year-old Lawrence Reed with federal terrorism charges. So he could even see the death penalty or get life behind bars, something that Chicago never did, which is why now an innocent person has been burned and may not survive. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer has ordered Bill and Hillary Clinton to appear for depositions next month for the panel's investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein or face possible contempt of Congress. Comer initially subpoenaed the former first couple August 5th to answer questions about their relationship with Epstein, but the Clintons' attorney responded by saying, "Oh, let them do something in writing." Instead, well, that's not acceptable. So the 42nd president has been ordered to appear for his deposition 10 a.m. December 17th, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has to sit for her deposition 10 a.m. the following day. If they do not come in defiance of subpoenas, Comer said that he would begin contempt of Congress proceedings. And under the Biden administration, if you are found guilty of contempt of Congress, you get sentenced to prison. Remember, people got their houses knocked down and whatnot. And the inventor of toys like Light Bright, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and others has died. May he rest in peace. The man you see on your screen here made millions of people happy. His name was Mr. Meyer. He died at 99. It is now 36 degrees. Later this hour, Chef Jesse Jones takes us through a Thanksgiving course you won't want to miss. You're watching on ONNJ Mornings. degrees, 7:30 on Monday, November 24th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. Sunny and windy today, highs upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the detailed Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So, Mike, just 15 minutes from now, we are going to have a segment I taped last week with Chef Jesse Jones, New Jersey's premier chef. We are going to he is going to roast a rack of pork, which is to die for. If you think you don't like pork, you think you've had pork chops that are dry, and this thing was as juicy, I'm not kidding, as juicy as a filet mignon.
Wow.
It like juice is pouring out of it. There was nothing dry about it. The flavor was incredible. He brines it 2 days. The first day in a salt and sugar brine, the second day in a dry brine. By the time you roast this thing, it is like saying, eat me. So
Oh my goodness,
my
that sounds
mouth is
incredible.
salivating. It is
So there's
delicious.
still
We'll do that in a
time
minute.
to get the pork roast if you want to change it up and do Thanksgiving because you need the 2 days to do the brine.
You
Wow.
could do it without brining. He talks about that. If you don't have time, you
Okay.
could still do it, but it's not easy to find. You go to Costco and stuff, the big stores have them in stock. If you go to your local butcher, you may have to ask a day in advance. So just a
Got
heads
it.
up on that.
Very
Anyway,
exciting. Super.
chilly wind
Looking
today.
forward to that. Yes, yes. Maybe the smells wafting through the air of some roast pork on a day like today, especially with those breezes. Quite gusty. We're clear though. Nice and sunny to start the day. Not a cloud in the sky, but there will be some gusts right now, even anywhere from 14 to 18 miles per hour up across northern New Jersey. Down south, we will warm into the mid 50s. It'll look beautiful, but again, a bit breezy at times, adding to that chill in the air. Feeling like fall. In fact, we're right on par with average. 52 degrees is where we should be for the day. So with any of the clouds today, primarily staying to our north, I think it's our last dry and sunny day before the clouds take over for tonight and bring back a very gray day tomorrow, especially to start with the clouds. And then rain arrives as soon as tomorrow afternoon, with a lot of wet weather taking over by Tuesday afternoon into the evening hours. Rain plus wind, not ideal for travel, especially those planning to head out later Tuesday into Wednesday with the travel plans. Those hitting the roads or the air or by rail have a lot of those scattered showers around. Temperatures will be mild though, in the mid 60s by Wednesday evening, and then look what happens Wednesday night. Temperatures come crashing down. You'll see this here with the cold front. After a beautiful day today, lots of sunshine, clouds move in tonight. You see those here on the map. Then the warm front moves on by, with it some rain, but temperatures well above average. And then here's what happens late Wednesday night. There's the cold front sweeping on through, giving us a much colder feel, even some lake effect snows upstate by Thursday afternoon. So a very chilly pattern setting up beginning on Thursday morning for Thanksgiving morning. Highs only making it to the low 40s. It'll feel very chilly, and then climbing only into the low 40s again on Black Friday. So a cold start, especially if you plan to head out. I don't know, do people wait in line anymore out and about? I feel like most of the shopping is done online now, even a week in advance, with those Black Friday sales starting November 1st. Saturday and Sunday bringing back a chill that lingers with the dry weather. So wet for the first half of the week. The transition day is Thursday with all of that cold air, and then we're right back to the deep freeze, below average by at least 10 degrees, Ken, going into the first week of December, starting Monday.
I love, again, well, below average, and it comes to Ken. I think that there is something subliminal there, but my mother agrees with you wholeheartedly. So there you have it. Mike, thank you, sir.
It's
We will
not.
check back with you in a little bit. There, 37 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 38 degrees in Trenton. Let's take a look at the traffic, and we have a lot of it right now. Let's go on to 495. This is just before the Helix. Wow, look at that. So you have, where is that, Pam? You said you saw something, right? Something, something. Oh, the next shot. I'm sorry. All right. That's okay. Never mind. But yeah, you can see this is just a bit of a bottleneck. The cars you see on the left, those are coming from New York back into New Jersey, and that's just volume. But on the right side, just as you see the sun glare there, those people are getting right onto the helix, and there is a bit of a rubberneck getting around the helix right now as a result. We have issues on the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur, the eastbound exit ramp by interchange 16E. This is a Route 3 exit from the New Jersey Turnpike that takes you to the Lincoln Tunnel. So we'll take a look at this, and you'll see, again, a crash. This is on the Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur eastbound exit ramp by interchange 16E, if we have that, Pam. This you will see heavy traffic, and this is what takes you over to Route 3. So as a result, now your delay making your way to the Lincoln Tunnel is substantially more. It's going to cost you about 40 minutes. There it is, right there. It's going to cost you about 40 minutes because of that right there. So that's coming off of the Jersey Turnpike. And that, again, takes you the Eastern Spur by exit interchange 16E, Route 3. And that is by North Bergen. The right lane is blocked, and that's going to cost you an additional 15 minutes as a result, making your way into the Lincoln Tunnel. Just a mess. Disabled vehicle now on 195 eastbound at exit 6. That's the New Jersey Turnpike in Robbinsville. The right shoulder's closed there. Route 27, we have a crash both directions south of Claremont Road, Franklin. All lanes are closed, and a crash with injuries on Route 91, both directions south of Howe Lane in North Brunswick, with all lanes closed there as well. So now we're told the Hudson River approaches Lincoln Tunnel partly because of what we just saw. Oh, I see why the backup. There's an additional backup. Center Tunnel eastbound. There's a breakdown there, so that's causing delays. It's going to cost you 40 minutes now with the Lincoln Tunnel between the crash in the right shoulder and then delays in the middle tunnel. On the Holland side, Holland Tunnel is going to take you about 25 minutes into Manhattan, and the GWB upper and lower levels very slow with 40 to 45 minutes making your way across into Manhattan. 7:37, and the state of New Jersey has awarded a total of $1.2 million in total to colleges to help deal with the issue of food insecurity. The grants are part of the Hunger Free Campus Act, and the award divided among 36 colleges in the state to support campus-based resources, including food pantries. In total, the state invested $6.4 million over the last 6 years to address food insecurity among college students under the act. Findings from OSHE's Spring 2025 Student Food Security Survey of 11,800 plus students show that half of Pell receiving respondents were food insecure. I don't know. I don't mean to sound insensitive, but don't a lot of college kids, isn't the tradition is you live on ramen noodles because you never have money? It makes it sound, I mean, if you have $100,000 to go to college, but you don't have $20 to get a sandwich for the week, I don't know. I don't mean to sound insensitive. I didn't have money in college either, but you survive. You make do. You have that bowl of pasta that lasts you 2 days. Maybe it's just me. So I think everybody who goes to college and lives alone is food insecure. And will 1.2 million in 37 spread over 37 colleges really make an impact? I don't know. I'm saying every little bit helps, and I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just thinking in a broader picture here. Every college student has no money in their pocket to buy food. And even if they have the campus card or whatever, they don't usually use it. It is what it is. If you don't know a college student, you don't get that. If you know college students, you understand what I'm talking about. 7:38 right now. Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill floated the idea that New Jersey would withhold federal tax payments. Yeah, try that, Mikey. You will be hauled off in cuffs. That would be fun to watch. Her comments came during a conversation on Jon Stewart's podcast, where she critiqued the federal government for not delivering on promised services. Like what? Like what, Mikey? What promised services? Sherrill said she thinks about withholding federal taxes all the time and described it as a great idea. The underlying frustration is that New Jersey pays more in federal taxes than it receives back, according to the Rockefeller Institute. But that is federalism. It's the way it works. Liberals love to confiscate the money from these people over here and give it to those people over there. But when it comes to you being a governor of a state where the federal government confiscates the state's money and gives it to these people over here, and then suddenly you become a conservative, Mikey, and you don't like that, do you? The proposal was also made by California Governor Gavin Newsom because Mikey couldn't have come up with it on her own. So she stole a fellow liberal's idea. It can't be done, by the way. Try withholding that money and you will go to jail because you're in violation of federal law. So let's see what happens. She was complaining that Trump said he was going to cut the Gateway Tunnel project. And that is because he was trying to get the government reopened. The Gateway Tunnel project will come back. Trust me. 7:40, a 17-year-old from Mays Landing charged with murder after allegedly stabbing his 49-year-old mother, Julissa Serrano, to death. Police responded to a 911 call at the Meadowbrook condos where they say the teen had a knife. Serrano was found at the home, several stab wounds, and later died at the hospital. The teen faces murder and lesser charges, being held at Atlantic Youth Center until his court appearance. The Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office wants anyone with info to call them. And the late Sheila Oliver, New Jersey's first black lieutenant governor, inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame. Governor Murphy praised Oliver's legacy. John Bon Jovi personally inducted his longtime bandmate, David Bryan, who grew up in Edison, into the hall. Jonas Brothers, Kevin, Joe, and Nick, also honored, and they paid homage to New Jersey and their roots, with Nick praising Jersey grit. Senator Cory Booker inducted John Bon Jovi's wife, Dorothea, for her nonprofit work through JBJ Soul Kitchen. Cory Booker wants to be president so badly he could smell it, taste it, and dream it. Cory, it will never happen. Stop wasting your time on other people's money. Just saying. 7:41, a fire broke out just after 9 a.m. Saturday in a duplex on Stiles Street in Elizabeth. The heavy smoke and flames forced the folks living there to run for their lives. Some tenants had to jump from windows to escape. About a dozen people were displaced. Some were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. 80 firefighters from nearly a dozen companies responded to the fire, which spread from the first floor to the attic. The Red Cross is helping people find a place to stay. Officials say the home may need to be demolished, and investigators are trying to figure out a cause. And holiday generosity last week, a ShopRite of West Caldwell joined Newark Mayor Ross Baraka at Wequahic High School for a Thanksgiving food distribution event. Nearly 6,000 families got turkeys, Cornish hens, sides, meal kits, and dessert. The store's CFO, Ned Gladstein, participated, representing a family with more than 80 years in Essex County. The newly opened ShopRite store at 900 Bloomfield Avenue donated hundreds of turkeys. HelloFresh and Bindi North America also contributed. And Maplewood Memorial Library Director Sarah Lester and the design team from Sage & Coombe Architects were recognized at the 2025 Sarah National Design Awards Gala earlier this month at the National Building Museum in Washington, D.C. Lester and architects Jennifer Sage, Peter Coombe, Christina Draghi, and Lee Kuhn received an honors award for the design of the mid-20th century library, which reopened this July. Very, very cool. It is now 7:42. That is our time. And when we come back, Chef Jesse Jones takes us through the main Thanksgiving course, and he knows how to feed 8 people with a protein that isn't turkey for less than you'd expect. Sunny, windy today, highs upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta comes back with a full Garden State forecast. You're watching ONNJ Mornings, back in 2.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:45, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Sunny but windy today. Highs upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
I don't know about you, but I could smell a pork roast in the oven. We have Chef Jesse coming up in just a few minutes, who's going to show us how to make the most incredible pork roast. By the way, a roast that feeds 8 people, $14.
That's
14
incredible.
bucks. Yeah.
That
So if you
sounds
want,
delicious.
not everybody likes turkey, and
No.
it's like the more people I survey, they're like, I could tolerate it one day a year, but I'm not a big
Right.
turkey fan. But yet when you
Right.
say pork roast, they all go, that's different.
Especially that crackling skin. Oh my goodness. Sounds
Forget it.
and
Delish.
smells so good. Well, we've got a beautiful day to maybe head out and take a look at some roasts, especially with highs that will climb into the low 50s. I was talking to Pam, our director, before the show. Gotta get shopping, especially for the groceries with temperatures feeling cool today. A good day to do the grocery shopping today because you don't want to be pushing the shopping cart and unloading the car in the rain tomorrow afternoon, especially with those gusty winds. Today, much better despite a little bit of a breeze. Notice that into the first week of December, we will be above average, especially down the shore, kind of tapping into some of that big heat that's forecast down for Florida. Beyond that, into the first few days of December as well, some slightly higher than average rain chances. So we continue this wetter trend as we see the rain come down throughout the day tomorrow, scattered on Wednesday. And then very chilly with dry weather beginning on Thursday. Look at the drop in temperatures. We dropped 20 degrees for a high in just a matter of hours as it feels very cold for Thanksgiving morning and then gradually transitioning to a dry forecast beyond that. We'll take another check of your forecast for the shore points coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
Very good, Mike. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. It is chilly 34 degrees northern New Jersey and 38 degrees in Trenton, 38 also in Vineland, and 38 in Cape May. There you go. So it's the cold spot is northern New Jersey right now at 7:47. In terms of traffic, let's go over to the Garden State Parkway, shall we? So this is, you'll see a broken down vehicle there right in the middle. See that white truck in the middle? This is what Pam, our director, was frantically trying to get my attention for before. And of course, I, in my inimitable lack of talent, I skated right over it and we never got to show you. But nonetheless, we get to show you now. This is Garden State Parkway, and this is causing delays southbound from exit 150, Hoover Avenue, Bloomfield to south of exit 147, Clinton Avenue, East Orange. And that's a 3-mile delay due to what you see on your screen right there. So there you have it. Other traffic we have in the region, a disabled vehicle, 195 eastbound at exit 6, New Jersey Turnpike, Robbinsville with the right shoulder closed. A crash on 27, both directions south of Claremont Road in Franklin, all lanes closed, and a crash with injuries. Route 91, both directions south of Howell Lane in North Brunswick with all lanes closed. Holland Tunnel now has delays. 30 minutes in, that is because of an issue from the exit from the Turnpike to the route there by Tunnelly Circle. And that's a mess making your way in. Lincoln Tunnel, not much better. We have issues on 495, and that's going to slow you down. So we got about 25 to 30 minutes for either Lincoln or Holland. GWB upper and lower levels, 40 to 45 minutes as you take a look at this. Just crawling into Manhattan. That's your commute in. This is busy time from now through the first week of January. Just prepare for it. 7:49. And the FBI missed a number of opportunities to stop Thomas Crooks before he tried to assassinate President Trump. Last week, published reports showed that there were multiple extremist social media posts believed to be tied to Crooks, including a number of threats of political violence and a dramatic shift against President Trump after previously expressing his admiration for the Republican. Experts say that constitutes a miss on the part of the FBI. Among the disturbing posts that were recently revealed were comments on YouTube that included, quote, "The only way to fight the gov is with terrorism-style attacks. Track down any important leaders and try to assassinate them," close quote. So that is from Crooks, the now dead attempted assassin of President Trump. A former deputy director of the FBI suggested that former director Christopher Wray was a Trump-hating liberal who was desperate to paint Trump's would-be assassin as a far-right lone gunman, something that he was right-wing at one point several years ago. but switched to the far left when he decided to talk about violence and assassinating people. And when he attempted to assassinate President Trump, then candidate Trump, he was far left. But Christopher Wray kept characterizing him as far right, which did not help the investigation and could have tipped the balance of the election against the Republicans. Clearly, Christopher Wray was playing that game, trying to make this political. 7:50 is our time, and Thanksgiving is almost here. And while most of us are thinking turkey, Chef Jesse Jones is here with a mouth-watering twist that might just steal the holiday spotlight. He's showing us how to turn a simple rack of pork into a show-stopping Thanksgiving centerpiece. I traded my desk for an apron last Monday and got to cooking. Check it out. So Chef Jesse Jones is the author of Pow, My Life in 40 Feasts, available on Amazon, I should say.
Yes, and my website.
And your website. Tell them your website.
ChefJesseJones.com.
There are so many incredible recipes in here. And so we're going to make, for Thanksgiving, something not traditional from an American perspective. Yeah. Normally we would do turkey. You got a better idea.
No, well, you can do turkey too, but you can do this rack of pork as well too. You know, just give a little, because some folks not big turkey fans. So always say, I like to have some pork. My mother likes to have pork. So voila,
All right.
All right. So, rack of pork. So this is brine. Have you before, Cleve?
It's been years, but remind us how you brine.
Just basically, I just apple juice, carrots, celery, onions, a little thyme, pickling spices, half a cup of kosher salt, brown sugar.
Half a cup of kosher salt.
Yeah, overnight. This is a 2-day process.
Okay.
So it's brine day one. And so the second day, I go in with my little, my other little rub, and this little roasted garlic oil. And this is just basically from you ever had roasted garlic?
Yes.
Cut the bulb, roast it. So once I squeeze all the pulp out, all the peelings, everything, I just put oil in there, avocado oil, steep it, and I got roasted garlic oil. So sage, rosemary, a little thyme, right?
That's almost a song.
Yep. So that in there. And then here is just garlic powder, onion powder, and a little paprika.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I could smell that.
And you mix this all around. And this is the second layer of love, We were talking earlier about layers of flavor and love. So I'm gonna put my gloves in here because we gotta get a little dirty here. Ken has his.
All set. Of course, Chef has matching gloves.
Yeah, you gotta have the POW gloves,
What does POW stand for?
Passion, opportunity, and work.
Passion,
Dream
opportunity,
big, never
and
give
work.
up.
Got it.
Okay, so now we just go in here, slather, all over with love.
Got to do the singing.
You gotta do the singing. And just to massage this in there.
When I first looked at that,
over.
I'm thinking, is that going to be enough? And yeah, that's exactly the right amount. Of course, it's the right amount.
Yeah, and like I said, you can have your turkey, but you can slice this up and you can cut it up in pieces. But I think that, it's great. My mother always had some pork around Thanksgiving, so I'm just keeping the tradition alive. So you get all that massaged in there. And then you put plastic wrap over it and, day 2. And then Thanksgiving, of course, you would do this Tuesday.
And this stays in the fridge overnight, plastic wrap?
Yep, plastic wrap overnight. So Tuesday, brine, Wednesday, this rub right here, get that love, because what's gonna happen is when you roast it, you're gonna get, and we taste it later, you're gonna get a nice little inside from the brine flavor, but then you're gonna get a nice crust.
Gotcha.
That's gonna be delicioso, So boom. So then after that,
Little swap out?
we swap that out. And we just get rid of our gloves.
Because the gloves are contaminated?
Yes. We give a little washy here. And put it into that. And then here we have
Are you kidding?
voila, you roast it.
So just for the camera, there we go, just cool enough. So everyone can see what that looks like. I mean, that is just kick butt. The smell on that is insane. And then, so again, you could get a roast like this about how much? And do you have to ask a butcher in advance for this?
Oh yeah, you definitely can ask the butcher. You go to your local meat store, but they're a great price. 14, under 14, 15, 17 bucks, a big one, 20 bucks. I mean, I think it's great,
And one of these could feed four to six people easily,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Yeah, and then, like I said, you also can do a couple of things. You can take it off the bone and slice it even thinner. Or if it's a small family, like I said here, you have 8, you could just cut them and give them a nice little chop,
And you could, if you really want to get crazy fancy, couldn't you take all 16 bones and make a crown roast out of it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That'd be nice.
That's like Julia
So
Child.
now, if you're gonna crown it, what we did before when I put the rub on it. So prior to that, crown it then, and then you could tie it and then roast it that way.
Beautiful. So again, just to repeat for everybody, day one, immediately you're going to contact your meat shop or your butcher, and you're going to order in advance. And you can do it by the rib, right? So you say an 8-rib pork roast.
Yes.
So you get that, and then once you do that, you're going to take it home. You're going to make your brine, which again is just kosher salt.
Yep.
Go down what it is.
So what you start off with, a gallon of water. You're going to do 3/4 cups of salt and brown sugar, and a little bit of carrots, a little bit of celery, onions, thyme, and pickling spice. And you make sure you cool it down. So you can do a couple things.
So you heat it first.
You can
then
do
cool
it.
it down?
Do it. Yeah, I saute it first. The onions and the celery. Saute that up. Bring the gallon of water up. Then once I get all the aromatics flavors in there, a little thyme, the pickle spice, give it a little taste. With the apple juice, the apple juice.
Right.
So half apple juice, half water. So it'll be a gallon. So it'll be 2 quarts of apple juice, 2 quarts of water, and a little bit of carrots, celery, onions. Saute it a little bit. Add in your liquid, add in your salt, add in your brown sugar, and then you can cool it down. If you do it the day before, you could just let it cool in the refrigerator to be fine. It has to be cold. Or you can put ice cubes in it, cool it down, and then submerge it in.
You don't want to put that roast in warm water because then you have bacterial growth.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. So and then you'll cook it. You'll have a cooked roast already.
And you also have a rush to the hospital the next day, possibly.
No, absolutely, from trichinosis. So then, like I said, fully cold and submerge it in there. I normally get a big 2-ounce Ziploc bag into a bucket, and I put it in there, fold it up.
And just so you know, for people that don't realize, I guarantee 90% of the people never see those Ziploc bags. All right, so now we got our rib roast. This is a pork rib roast.
Yes.
We got our string bean casserole, and this is in honor of Lori Stokes. Lori Stokes' wonderful stuffing that she taught me when we were at Channel 7. So let's start. We want to start with your roast.
Let's try it.
Get the protein in. This is cooked perfect. And yes, pink is fine, just a little pink.
Oh, wow.
I'm laughing because it's so good. That's so moist. That's ridiculously moist. All right.
And Chef Jesse is the author of Pow, My Life in 40 Feasts, a cookbook and memoir by a beloved American chef, available at his website, chefjessejones.com. We're coming right back.
So Chef Jesse Jones is the author of Pow, My Life in 40 Feasts, available on Amazon, I should say.
Yes, and my website.
And your website. Tell them Good morning. It is 8 a.m. Monday, November 24th, 2025. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take your calls, 888-658-0234. Sunny but windy today. Highs upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
I don't know about you, but I'm full just watching Chef Jesse there with that wonderful pork roast. Man, was that good.
You could see the juice just pouring out of that roast. That looked delicious. Looked delicious.
People think you have to cook pork until it's like
Mm.
190 degrees and dry and white. If you notice, there was a little tiny bit of rose pink
Right.
in there, just a little. As long as it's 140 degrees or above, it's perfectly safe. And no, it doesn't have a raw, gamey taste. A lot of people, oh, doesn't it taste raw? No, just the opposite. It
Wow.
tastes delicious. I promise you. So there you go.
Now I wonder, my question is, will that brine that he did work for a turkey, a more traditional turkey?
Yes. He actually
Good.
said you could
Okay.
use exactly the same brine. Same brine.
Oh,
You don't change a
perfect.
thing. Yep.
All right, I'm going shopping today. This is going to happen. We'll let you know how it comes out. I'm very excited for that. Excited for the warmer weather that's on the way, not so much for the rain. So if you're headed out this afternoon or have plans to, it'll be dry today. We're starting off in the 40s right now across most of New Jersey. Even the wind chill hitting 40 right now at 8:02 in Hackensack, 40 degrees in Newark. Feels a touch cooler back by Morristown and Flemington, but beyond that, we're running a little bit warmer than this time yesterday by about 10 to 12 degrees. As far as the sun, we keep that around. Lots of clear sky this morning. The clouds, they come in later on tonight. And it comes with a bit of a breeze as well. A northwesterly breeze transitioning to a west wind by this afternoon. Brings back a little bit more of a southerly wind tomorrow. And that will help to push temperatures into the 50s and 60s by Wednesday. But it also helps bring on the rain, especially with that wind off of the water come tomorrow morning and especially by the afternoon when that rain gets going. So a little bit of a wet midweek by tomorrow afternoon into Wednesday. The Futurecast showing those gusty breezes today, helping it to feel a little bit cooler, low 50s, which is average for the end of November, but will bring back a little bit more warmth in the form of some milder weather with those winds by tomorrow morning, and especially by the afternoon and Wednesday when the warm front is upon us. So tomorrow afternoon, rain comes down, chilly, 50s, not looking great. But Wednesday, a few breaks in the clouds, and yes, there could be a few quick downpours, but look how we climb into the 60s by Wednesday afternoon before the temperature comes crashing down. There's the cold front. You can see it here drawn in the clouds, going from the low 60s to the 30s in just a matter of hours. Starting off Thanksgiving morning, very chilly, like it feels, down in the 20s. Actual air temperature of 30 degrees on the green in Morristown there for Thursday morning, climbing only into the low 40s in Newark by the afternoon. So a much colder feel for Thanksgiving Day with those gusty breezes lasting all throughout the morning and the afternoon. Too windy for the balloons? I don't think so. We'll be just on the cusp of having those balloons being lowered, but they should fly high, especially after a little bit of a chilly start to the day. Maybe some extra helium because it'll be so cold. We'll talk more about that with a check of your 7-day forecast, Ken. That's coming up in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. It is 8:04 right now in terms of weather, temperature, 36 degrees right now. I have to tell you that first. 40 in Trenton, 36 in northern New Jersey. Let's go over to 287, shall we? Right now we have, or actually, this is US 1 at 287. So we have a crash on US 1 southbound north of 2. No, that's not the camera. Nope, nope, nope. I'm going to let you take a second if you can. This is US 1, southbound north of 287. So if you could find that, Pam. You'll see US 1 at 87, only because that's where we have bumper to bumper stopped and you could see an accident. That's it. Thank you, my Pam. She's the best. So you can see that is, yes. Okay. So because I said it that way. I said it backwards. It's my fault. And you can see that accident right there. So that's US 1 at 287. And that is in Edison. One right lane of the 3 lanes closed, and that's causing delays back up about 1.5 miles. So just be aware of that. And Pam, I'm going to ask if you could do a quickie switch to Garden State Parkway, mile marker 149.2. Garden State, mile marker 149.2 southbound, north of 148, if you could find that for me. Sorry, everybody, for the technicals, but that's what you got right there. Pam, how fast she is. So we have a disabled vehicle on the Garden State southbound. That's south of exit 148, John F. Kennedy Drive north in Bloomfield. The right lane is blocked. So the people on the upper left, they're going into it right now, hence the slowdown. Debris on Route 55 northbound, north of exit 45, Buck Road in Elk Township, that's southern New Jersey. All lanes are open, but causing some delays. Crash with injuries, Route 91, both directions by Howe Lane, North Brunswick, with all lanes closed. And your Hudson River crossings right now, you got 25 to 30 at the Holland because of issues getting off the highway, getting off the turnpike, getting to the Holland. The Lincoln Tunnel has exactly the same issue when you get off the turnpike, making your way to Route 3 to the Lincoln. So both have 25 to 30 minutes to get into Manhattan. GWB, not much better. In fact, worse. Upper and lower levels, bumper to bumper right now. Hard to see there. The upper is worse than the lower. The lower is on the right side, but you're talking 35 to 40 in on the GWB. 8:06 is our time, and there is a critical health issue that affects millions of Americans, chronic kidney disease, also known as CKD. More than 35 million U.S. adults are living with CKD, yet 90% don't even know they have it. And for people with type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, the risks are even higher. Dr. Charles Vega is a primary care physician and director of UC Irvine's program in medical education for the Latino community. And Thelma is a patient, a two-time kidney transplant recipient, to tell us about her journey to help others take charge of their health. Good morning, Dr. Vega and Thelma. Good to have you both on.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. And I always say up front, whenever I have a medical issue connected with the interview, I have only one kidney. I had to have one removed about 15 years ago, and I live with one kidney. So I'm always very conscious of everything I do for my kidney. So I'm with you on many levels about this conversation. So let's talk first about what chronic kidney disease is, Dr. Vega. Let's explain that and how it can impact so many aspects of our health.
Yeah, it's a great point. So chronic kidney disease, or CKD, is a chronic dysfunction of the kidneys. And remember, the kidneys act as the main filter for your blood. Unfortunately, when you have CKD, you're not only at risk for complications of kidney disease like transplant or dialysis, but cardiovascular events like heart attack or stroke as well. Yet many people, as you said, don't recognize CKD because it initiates without a lot of symptoms. And so therefore, it's very important to get screened if you have high-risk conditions.
And also, doesn't kidney disease can impact your blood pressure as well, correct, in terms of your kidney health?
It's a two-way street, absolutely. So as your kidney disease grows and gets worse, your blood pressure can be worse, but blood pressure in and of itself, hypertension is the most common risk factor for kidney disease. Hypertension affects about 45% of U.S. adults.
I didn't know it was that high. That's scary to think of. Who is most at risk too, and why is testing so important?
So there's hypertension and diabetes that account for about 2/3 of cases of CKD, but that means a third are not accounted for by hypertension and diabetes. So if you have a family history of kidney disease, if you have cardiovascular disease, you really need to get 2 tests done for screening, a blood test and a urine test. So it takes 2 tests to appropriately screen for chronic kidney disease, and then you and your clinician can initiate treatment that can reduce your risk over time.
So now there are 2 tests. Perfect. We're going to talk about this. Good segue. We have the It Takes Two initiative. What should patients know about the EGFR blood test and the UACR urine test?
Well, I think that really patients should advocate for getting both a blood and urine test. Those acronyms are kind of challenging, right? It's hard to remember, but just say blood test, urine test. If you have one of those high-risk conditions, it takes 2 folks. It takes you and your clinician, and it takes 2 tests, a blood and a urine test, to appropriately identify CKD.
And we have Thelma so patiently sitting there. Sorry to make it so long before we got to you, Thelma. How did you find out you had CKD?
Well, Ken, it took nearly a decade before I realized that I had chronic kidney disease. Oftentimes when you present like I did with fatigue and swelling, the doctors push those symptoms off to another condition. But when I finally was diagnosed, everything spiraled out of control. I had type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and that all living with CKD can be very overwhelming. And so basically, chronic kidney disease is a very interconnected condition, and it's called the cardiovascular kidney metabolic conditions that I'm living with, along with CKD. So life for me has been overwhelming, but I'm blessed.
Amen. Amen to that. Good to see you healthy and sitting there right now because you did something about it and you talked to your doctors and you're now an advocate for others, right? Facing kidney disease. So what advice do you have for people who may be at risk?
My advice to anyone who's at risk for CKD, please partner with your doctor. That's why we're talking about this campaign, It Takes Two, because it takes you and your doctor, the two tests, the urine test and the blood test, not only for kidney disease awareness, but also you can get an idea of what's happening with your kidneys from a cardiovascular risk management. Also, please go to testyourkidneys.com. What we need you to do is to be an advocate for your health. Empower yourselves to know what's happening in your body, because knowledge is this power. And if we have the information, wisdom is that I've been through it so that you don't have to go through it. Please get your kidneys checked, partner with your doctor, because it takes two tests, to you and your provider, and to your care partners, because we want you all to be well, but we want you to be aware of what chronic kidney disease can do, not only to your kidneys, but also to your heart.
Right. Be good friends with your doctor, and then you won't have to meet up with the second doctor like me and Thelma in terms of like a nephrologist who is a kidney specialist. If you take care of your kidneys up front, not that my nephrologist isn't a nice guy, but at the same time, you want to not get to that point. So, Dr. Vega, what do people need to know about protecting their kidneys? And we're in the last 30 seconds.
Sure. So I want to thank Thelma for her story and sharing it so bravely. But I also want to thank Boehringer Ingelheim and Eli Lilly, who's partnering in this Test Your Kidneys campaign. So testyourkidneys.com is a great website, has a lot of resources so you can better advocate for yourselves. And just be aware of this and talk to your clinicians.
Excellent advice, both of you. Primary care physician Dr. Charles Vega, director of UC Irvine's program in medical education for the Latino community, and kidney patient and transplant recipient Thelma. Thank you both for coming on this morning. Great advice, and may you both be healthy and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
you. You too.
You bet. It is 8:13 right now, 35 degrees. When we come back, many New Jersey families are still feeling the ripple effects of challenges with SNAP benefits. We're going to talk about it. Sunny and windy today, highs upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta when we come back. You're watching ONNJ Mornings.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
And welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. We are taking calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. It'll look real pretty out there today, but it's going to be very windy at times. You could have gusts into the 30-mile-an-hour range. Highs upper 40s. It might feel a little cooler than that. Meteorologist Mike Favetta can explain with detail with the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So it looks real bright and nice, and you think, wow, I'll open the
Yeah.
door and it'll be like spring. And then you say, no, it's not.
Not exactly. No, it'll feel even milder, I think, as we head into tomorrow and especially Wednesday with highs in the 60s, but comes at a price with some rain arriving as soon as tomorrow. We're dry today. Look at the cloud picture. Not one over New Jersey. So we stay nice and clear with all that sunshine today. Temperatures managed to make it into the low 50s, which is pretty much where we should be for Thanksgiving week. Starting off the day feeling a little chilly with a bit of a breeze later on tonight. That wind holding steady, making for the 30s as wind chills right down toward the coast tomorrow morning. Then we warm into the 50s tomorrow afternoon. Granted, it's with rain and wind, so not exactly looking or feeling so great. But by Wednesday, with a few breaks in the clouds, a little bit of sunshine, temperatures managing to make it back into the 60s, feeling better. Then Thursday comes in, and Thanksgiving morning is quite chilly, with wind gusts allowing for the wind chill to feel like the 20s even in the city. Keep that in mind if you're planning to head toward the parade or even just walking to the car on a frosty and chilly Thanksgiving morning. Very cold throughout the afternoon with those wind gusts on the order of 20 miles per hour. So by Wednesday night, those winds start to increase to about 21 to 25 miles per hour, which is, like Ken said, borderline the criteria where the balloons have to be lowered, but they hold just below that threshold into Thanksgiving morning. So I think the balloons will fly for the parade. They may not be as high as they usually are, thanks to a little bit of a gusty breeze, of course, with that cold weather as that wind comes coming in right across the streets and avenues. Then by Friday, it starts to turn a little bit cooler with that kind of cold weather digging its heels in. Most of the chilly air and all of the snow flurries due to the lake effect snows stay upstate, so we likely just get a few passing clouds by the end of the week. But beyond that, the weekend looks quite pleasant. Temperatures in the low 40s, which is, how you would expect to end the last weekend in November. Dry this weekend, but chilly certainly, with lots of sunshine and cold air, Ken, just in time to start off the last month of the year.
There you have it. And then before you know it, it'll be January and we'll be talking about single digits. I always find, I talked about it last year too. The first to second week of January is when you get that little stretch of single digits, just for a couple
That's
of nights,
correct.
right? And then that's just
Yep.
that coldest time. And then I always think of the old British hymn, "In the bleak midwinter." You got to sing it with an accent. It's just like, I just think of these miserable children with like tattered clothing singing outside saying, "Some more, please. Give me some more." Maybe it's just me. I just have issues. All right, Mike.
Grovel or
Thank you
gruel,
very
yeah, all of those things.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not as crazy as I thought I
It's
was.
okay.
But, or maybe I still am. Mike, we'll check back, sir, as always. Thank you so much. 35 degrees northern New Jersey. It is 40 in Trenton, as they say, and 39 now down the shore in Cape May, 38 in Vineland. Let's go over to US 1 at 287 in Edison. There is a crash with the right lane closed and oh, they pulled it, Pam. That's good. Pam tells me they pulled it away as I was talking to Mike. So that's a good thing. It just opened. You can see it's heavy, but it's moving. Good. We don't have to talk about it anymore, and all those nice folks can go on their way. We have a crash with injuries on Route 91 in both directions south of Route 680, Howe Lane in North Brunswick. All lanes are closed there, so that's definitely not a good issue there. And then we go over to the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur, southbound north of interchange 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. Let's take a look at that. The right lane is blocked. So if you look way up at the left side of your screen, that's what we're talking about. That is the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur, southbound north of interchange 15E, 1 and 9 in Newark, with the right lane blocked. We have issues also on the Turnpike. This is not we don't have a shot for it, but it's New Jersey Turnpike outside the interchange 16E, Route 3, Lincoln Tunnel, Secaucus. And that is due to volume. So now you have issues. Lincoln Tunnel, as a result, the approach is going to cost you 35 minutes, starting at the turnpike and making your way to 495. And then from the Holland, or making your way from the turnpike to the Holland Tunnel, you have another issue there, right lane issue. So in either case, it's going to be about 35 minutes. Over to the GWB upper and lower levels. We're very heavy before. Can you even make out? Yeah, there it is. So you can see right there. And yes, Pam, I got you. Thank you. So you can see that there are issues now on the GWB approach, and that is just going to be a mess. It's just that time of year, and that's due to a lot of volume, a lot of trucks bringing in goods, toys, food, etc. And that coupled with accidents, and then you got that bumper to bumper traffic. 8:21, and as we are now into the holiday season, many New Jersey families are still feeling the ripple effects of challenges with SNAP benefits and food assistance programs. Even though the government, of course, has reopened, the increased need that the shutdown created has lingered in communities across the state. And one local business stepping up to support families is Sang Couture, a bridal salon in North Plainfield. They're good folks there, hosting a holiday food drive to help replenish local food pantries. Last year, get this, they collected more than 100 donations, and they're hoping to surpass that number this year. And Gina is the Assistant Vice President at Sang Couture. Gina, good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate what you're doing for people who really need it. And what made you originally launch the food drive?
Honestly, it's always something that is needed. I feel that it shouldn't just be for Thanksgiving or giving gratitude at one time of year. I think it should be done all time of year, any time of year at all. I think that it's just important that people just always give back, give that gratitude all year long. And obviously, it was the sense of gratitude for Thanksgiving and helping those families, especially during the SNAP benefit situation. We wanted to step forward and really help as much as possible and really drive that through our website, drive it through our social media to help those families. And it really created such a buzz. A lot of families have come in, and we've surpassed well over 100 donations. And we've donated about 400 pounds so far already with a donation center that we're working with, the Food Bank Network of Somerset County.
That is amazing. And you know what? If you're not a walk-in, walk-out business like a
Right.
bodega or a market, you're a destination where you only get a
Correct.
handful of people, right, by appointment or whatever per day. So the fact that you were able to get that many donations, that says something about your customers and the community and about you and
Thank
what
you.
you did. So that's a big deal. So how has the community responded so far this season versus last?
Well, we put the word out a little bit earlier to let people know so they can start making appointments. And just word of mouth has been traveling as well. So, we did offer an incentive for people to come in as well. They did receive 10% off of their dresses when they did purchase a gown with us and brought a donation. And some people just brought donations anyway, just for that
Oh,
gratitude. We had family members just bring bags of donations. I mean, we didn't ask for much, but people were very generous this year, and we really do appreciate it. We have probably another maybe 300 to 400 pounds to donate, and our event ended yesterday, so we're looking forward to it. We might extend it into the weekend of this week coming through, just because it was so responsive and wonderful, and we do appreciate all the donations we received.
amazing. And yeah, the thing is, once Thanksgiving's over, then it's Christmas, Hanukkah, etc. There's still other holidays. It's not like that
Right?
if they donate after Thanksgiving that food's going to go to waste. It's going to get used and given
Correct.
away this whole season. And from what I understand, like we've had the Salvation Army on it. They talk about many of the donations that they get, the canned good donations. Literally, they need this time of year. It helps carry them through into next year because the
Sure.
need is so great. What are some of the items that are needed, and how can people drop off those donations with you?
Well, some of the items that are needed are obviously canned goods. Any type of canned goods that expires much later than we're hoping that it lasts a long time. Any boxed goods, anything like mashed potatoes, they were bringing in boxes of mashed potatoes, pasta, jarred sauces, any type of vegetables. So those are the items that they were requesting, and because these things do last quite some time. And also things like paper goods. People don't have those things either. So just because it's a food bank and food drive, we are accepting those things as well. So, but the food is very important, obviously.
How about diapers? Because I know that diapers are so expensive. Do you folks take those too?
So we're not taking them for the food drive. They don't accept diapers, from what I understand and
Okay.
from what I remember when we spoke to them. But that could be something for something in the future.
Sure, sure. I'm sure they could find an agency that'll take
Yeah,
diapers for mothers who are just it's so overwhelming. I don't have kids, but I have relatives who have kids, and when I hear about how expensive every diaper is, it's
right.
terrifying to think to be a young parent and having to deal with those expenses. And the fact that you offered a 10% bridal gown discount is huge because we know the bridal
Yeah,
gowns aren't inexpensive, and it's not like you're the
right.
ones doing it, it's the designers and all that costs them a lot of money to design a bridal gown and the materials, etcetera. So that's a big, big deal. Did you first think like, "Wow, this is gonna cost a lot," but I'm sure at the end, what it does for you inside must help offset that.
Absolutely. It's definitely something that's our way of giving back is giving that discount to the clients. Because a lot of clients, this isn't that it's a tough time of year. So a lot of clients are suffering for buying dresses as well. So because they're quite a high ticket price. And
Yeah.
the clients are very supportive and generous. Some clients were like, I don't need the discount, I don't care, because they just wanted to at least donate. So we try to give back as much as we can, and we do appreciate our public coming forward and giving back for us as well.
Really nice. And what is a website for more information?
So our website is www.seng-couture.com, and we donated to the Food Bank of Somerset County. So, if anybody wants to participate with them, they've been wonderful and they disperse all the foods throughout Somerset County.
That's amazing. Sang Couture is in North Plainfield once again. Help them out with their food donation drive and the Food Bank of Somerset County as well. Assistant Vice President Gina, we thank you for coming on this morning for what you're
Thank
doing
you
and
so
happy
much.
Thanksgiving to you and your family.
To you as well. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Happy Thanksgiving.
You bet. Thank you. 827 right now. When we come back, you're tired of using passwords for every app you get on? Well, so are a lot of corporate workers, and companies are responding with alternate ways to safely get into your accounts. Brand and digital strategist Fisher will join us for the details. Phone lines open 888-658-0234. You're watching ONNJ Jersey Mornings. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Very good morning to you. It is Monday, November 24th, 2025. Right now, we have 35 degrees northern New Jersey and 40 in Trenton. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Sunny and windy. Highs upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will be here in a moment with the detailed Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
All righty, right, Mike. So we're looking milder for the week. This is kind of nice. So folks traveling to and fro for Thanksgiving don't have to wear the big parka. They could just wear the slightly lighter coat.
True, but make sure it's the raincoat because there's some rain
Uh,
coming in with at times a little windy, so it gets a little gross maybe for the travel. But yes, you're right. Temperatures do turn milder. It's just the rest of the elements not looking so great. Even though it's beautiful right now, nice and clear this morning. A little bit of a gusty breeze up to 21 miles per hour in Sussex, 20-mile-per-hour winds over in Toms River, and that makes it feel a touch cooler despite all the sunny skies throughout this afternoon. As temperatures go, we'll be running just slightly warmer than average into the mid 50s, and it'll feel quite nice. There's our 52-degree average for the day. Lots of the snow flurries that you'll see on the map stay upstate, so we're dry and sunny today, but the clouds, they quickly return later on this evening into tomorrow. We finish out the day with some high thin clouds, start off tomorrow overcast, and then the rain moves in as soon as tomorrow afternoon, giving us some light showers, a little bit of a gusty breeze, just kind of a very damp and dreary feel with the chilly air throughout the end of your Tuesday. Starting off Wednesday morning with some clouds and spotty showers, and these will be more of the aggressive type of showers. Could be a quick passing downpour later on the day on Wednesday. That's in advance of the cold front, which takes our temperatures from the 60s and drops them quickly down into the 40s and then the 30s by Thanksgiving morning. So a very chilly feel as we say goodbye to the sunshine and bring back some of the clouds. It comes with a warm front, so yes, it'll be in the 60s with that rain throughout the day Wednesday, and then that cold front sharply drops the air temperature, gives us a gusty wind, and that sets up for a very cold Thanksgiving as well as Friday. The 7-day forecast has plenty of cloud cover around through the next few days, so enjoy the sun today while it's around because you won't see it again until Thursday, and with it, it comes with some very cold air and pretty gusty conditions too, especially with the shore points featuring some chilly air right through the weekend, even into the last day of November, Ken, on Sunday.
Oh, November, the end of November, but November just got here. I feel like we're just getting to know each other. And it's like,
Bye.
by the way, when I studied Latin, I always got confused because novem in Latin means
Oh,
9.
sure.
It's nove in
Mm-hmm.
Italian, nueve in Spanish, and neuf in French. So why is it the 11th month?
Oh, Pope Gregory, right? Didn't Gregory switch it up?
Gregorian calendar. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they added the months. And do you realize that the early months are all the names of gods from the Greek gods? And then later they started being named after numbers. Octo is 8, Novem is 9, Decem is 10, right? But the early ones, January was named after Januarius. February, I forget the god on that. And then Mars is Mars. March is Mars.
Mars, yep.
All
Mm-hmm.
this craziness. All right. Thank you very much. We can go on to have a whole class. You'll do the dissertation on meteorology, and I'll give you the culture from the Greeks and the Romans. We'll check back with you, Mike, sir. It
In
is
6
38
languages,
degrees.
too.
6. We'll just do 5 today and cut it short. We'll
Okay.
check back a little bit. It's 38 degrees northern New Jersey, 40 in Trenton, 40 degrees in Cape May as well right now. We have a disabled vehicle to report. This is on 495 eastbound at Kennedy Boulevard, North Bergen Township, with a center lane blocked. Look at the mess you got on your screen as a result. Traffic signal down on Route 42 northbound Atlantic City Expressway in Washington Township. Right lane and right shoulder are closed. And on the Jersey Turnpike Western Spur southbound north of 15E, 1 and 9 in Newark, the right shoulder blocked there. Over to Route 91, crash with injuries south of Howe Lane, North Brunswick. This has been on for about an hour and a half. All lanes are closed there. And we have delays both into the Lincoln and Holland right now coming off of the Turnpike at their respective exits. Both have issues, so it's going to cost you 35 minutes to get into Manhattan either way. GWB upper and lower levels even more, 40 to 45 minutes, 80-95 approach. If we drop the banner there, you can see under the dirt of the camera, the dirt of the camera lens, you can see those cars crawling in 40 to 45 minutes in.
835. Hey, are you tired of using passwords for every app you get on? Well, so are a lot of corporate workers, and companies are responding with alternate ways to safely get into your accounts. Plus, if you like airdropping pictures, but half your friends use Android or Pixel phones, there will soon be a solution. Brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and through his website Fisher.media, with a fancy schmancy new background, joins us
You like
now
it?
with more good. I like it a lot. That is,
Now,
should we tell them?
do you believe
Should
I'm
we tell them
standing
what
outside
city
a
it is?
window that has Atlanta in the
It
background?
looks like it. It does
Yeah.
look like it, but in reality, like me, it is a TV monitor. But it does look fancy schmancy, Fisher, I must say.
Thank you. I'm afraid of moving because I think that I'll screw up something. So we'll just
Well,
look at the
well, I
beautiful
have to
picture
say,
in the background.
so now I'm so tired of having to type my password, which is
Mhm.
PASS. That's my password. Every time,
WO, yeah.
yes, every time, or 1234, which is my other password. Every time I need to access my work email, but now companies are responding because they're tired of it too, right?
Yeah.
With alternate methods of getting into accounts. So talk about that.
Yeah, as we talk about a lot of times, and with security hacks and getting accounts getting broken into and companies getting their data stolen, we're constantly
Yes.
reminding you to change your passwords or using two-factor authentication. Companies are increasingly recognizing no one likes passwords due to inconveniences of remembering them, right, for multiple logons. And cybersecurity leaders don't like it because they're finding passwords written on Post-it notes. Also, when you're dealing with passwords at work, usually you log into your computer and that logs you into Microsoft Office in many cases, or Google, Jira if you're in technology, Smartsheet, Adobe, all of it, on and on and on. So then you have one password that gives you access to your entire computer. So companies are increasingly adopting passwordless authentication, which verifies identities using alternatives like hardware tokens, biometrics, your face, your thumbprint, or mobile push notifications instead of traditional passwords. And a lot of you who use Microsoft Office already experience using a mobile push or an authenticator in order to log into your computer. A recent survey of over 200 cybersecurity experts revealed that 92% of organizations have implemented or plan to implement passwordless authentication, which is a rise of 70% from just last year. Embracing passwordless authentication positions companies as innovative and security focused. Now, the big question, if companies are moving to passwordless authentication, why are you not doing that? Just looking at a few companies who use passwordless authentication or passkeys: Amazon, Apple, CVS, Google, Home Depot, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Uber, just to name a few. So you would be able to log into your account instead of entering a password repeatedly just by looking at your phone or your thumbprint. You can see a more comprehensive list and find out more about passwordless authentication by checking out a great website called passkeys.com. And it really is a smart way to go and get rid of those passwords. Ken, PAW 055ORD, is that what you're doing now? I'm trying to remember when I hacked your email yesterday.
1234. It's password
I keep forgetting
1234. Not
password.
that I would ever share that with anyone. Pam, do you have
No.
do you have the lower third of that? It's passkeys.com, and I'm about to sneeze.
Passkeys.com. Yep, there it is. Great website
There
to
it is.
go to.
There's a
Bless you.
sneeze. Is cute. See, there's an old Italian saying, if you sneeze in the middle of a statement, it must be true. I don't know if that where that comes
Well,
from.
the
Then
website
this
does
is true.
exist, so great. Yeah.
There it is. Very good.
Yep.
Well, now moving to the next subject here. I am a Samsung phone guy, but
Not everybody's perfect.
so many of my friends are iPhone people, and they always say, "Oh, let me just airdrop this to you." And I think they do it on purpose because they know I have Samsung. And that was something that you
Smart.
couldn't do before, but now you're saying that you may soon be able to use AirDrop with people who have Pixels and Android phones as well.
Correct. Now, this capability launches exclusively on the Pixel 10 series devices, with Google planning out a broader rollout to additional Android phones soon. And QuickShare now will integrate seamlessly with AirDrop, allowing you to share files between Androids and iOS devices or Mac or iPads without any actual official handshaking between Google and Apple. Users can transfer photos, videos, files across platforms, meaning you could be in Adobe and pass a PDF, or be in another program and just share two. And again, broader rollout to additional Android phones soon. You can just open up Quick Share and you will see your friends' iPhones, and you can just say Fisher's iPhone, connect, I see the file, I accept it, and vice versa. So I would see your Android Samsung on my phone and do the same thing, but it's a lot easier than being around the Thanksgiving table or the Christmas table, holiday table, and saying, I'll text this to you, and it's a large file and it doesn't go through, and on and on. AirDropping or quick sharing on Android is the way to go, and it'll be rolling out soon on most Android devices.
That's pretty amazing. I like that. And that's a big, and this is not just with pictures. This is any file, right? You could airdrop any file.
Files, yeah. Like I said, PDFs, documents, if you're at a work function. And again, it's breaking down that walled garden, as they say, that Android and mainly Apple has, where back in the day you could only, you'd be the green bubble. You're still the green bubble, Ken. But at least it's through RCS texting now instead of just the simple text messaging that it was back in the day. It is not a direct integration, right, SMS, not direct integration into Apple's iMessage, but the RCS bridges that gap, improves encryption. So things like that, Quick Share becoming compatible with AirDrop is definitely a step forward into making the decision of getting a phone easier, right? Because you kind of get bullied into that green bubble and, well, do I want the green bubble? I want the blue bubble, so I'll get an iPhone. Now there's a lot more capabilities coming to Android that make it a little less embarrassing to have an Android.
I still like my fax machine. I'm just saying. I actually had
It's
to
amazing that you have
I'm
that
not
clear of a picture on the dial-up.
I am not kidding. Yesterday, I actually had to fax something, and all the fax apps that are on your phone, like if you want to fax from phone, they all charge you like $1.99, whatever. And I realized, no, I have an actual fax machine in the house, and I had to yank it out of the closet and blow off the dust, but it actually still worked.
Let's go to, you have a telephone line in the house?
I do. I have it. I pay for a
Okay.
telephone line. I know. I
All right,
know.
you're the
We'll
one.
talk. We'll talk. Pam
So does
says she does
Pam.
too. So there.
Yeah.
All right. Brandon, digital strategist Fisher, can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and through his website, fisher.media. You know, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us this
Take
morning.
care.
All right. Take care. It is now 38 degrees at 8:43 when we come back. Newark taking a major step forward in expanding access to mental health care. We will explain. Sunny, windy, highs upper 40s. Mike Favetta comes back with a full Garden State forecast on New Jersey mornings.
Hey, New Jersey. Want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Sunny, windy, highs upper 40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will be here in just a sec with a full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So it is sunny. In fact, so sunny that I always love to say when the sun hits a certain point in the sky, Mike, that's when it causes road glare. And all of a sudden you'll see a slew of accidents. And in the last 10 minutes, we went from 1 or 2 to about 15. So something tells
That's
me the
it.
sun is at just that right point in the sky where it's hitting
Sure.
people in the faces. Because to go from 2 or 4 to 15 is usually the case.
I can imagine windshields are pretty dirty because we've had these little spits of rain each and every day over the last few days. So yes, adding to the glare factor as well. With temperatures right now that are starting cool, we're actually climbing into the 50s with a lot of sunshine today. So like Ken said, sun glare likely an issue now that that sun is just a little bit higher in the sky. We'll look forward to for the next few weeks to see temperatures slightly above average, especially for the first week in December. Most of that heat concentrated down toward Florida and the southeast, but big chill arriving in the upper Midwest over the next 2 weeks. And then here in New Jersey, we'll likely have a little bit higher chances of rain going forward. So we've been accumulating quite a bit in the rain gauges, especially with all of the little spits of rain that we've had over the last few days. We get another round of rain tomorrow into Wednesday with temperatures climbing into the 60s, and then those temperatures come crashing down on Thanksgiving. 44 as a high, but it's going to feel like the 20s with the wind chill Thanksgiving morning, holding in the 40s only throughout this upcoming weekend. So very chilly weather ahead as we head into next week. Oh wait, I wanted to show you because this has the December 1st forecast this way. Starting off on Monday, 53 degrees, so a little bit of a milder start to the first day of December as we move forward into, well, the new month with some clouds by Monday morning. So chilly weather ahead, Ken. I think that'll be the key. You'll have to dress like it's Christmas morning on Thanksgiving morning.
There you go. But being that it's Thanksgiving, instead of just chilly weather, it's turkey chilly weather. All right. How about an A for effort? Dad joke, A for effort. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We will catch you tomorrow. We appreciate you. Have
See
a
you
wonderful
tomorrow.
day. All right.
You too.
Thanks. It is 8:48 right now. Temperature 39 degrees, northern New Jersey, 40 in Trenton. It's 40 degrees in Cape Bay. Now 41 in Vineland. We go over to, let's look at 495. There's a disabled vehicle. 495 eastbound at Kennedy Boulevard, North Bergen Township. The center lane is blocked, causing the delays you see there as people are trying to make their way on, and that is causing some slowdowns. We have a traffic signal down on Route 42, northbound Atlantic City Expressway, Washington Township, with the right shoulder closed. Pam, I'll give you a heads up while I'm doing the other traffic. See if you could find me Garden State Parkway 149.2, 149.2 southbound, north of 148, and I'll continue with these, okay? We have a problem now in the New Jersey Turnpike, Western Spur, southbound, north of interchange, 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. There we go. Look at Pam. She's like magical with her fingers with finding these traffic accidents. So that is what you have there in the Jersey Turnpike. Western Spur southbound north of interchange 15E, 1 and 9 in Newark with the right shoulder block, causing the delays split on the roadway there because they both exit at the same point. Now, if we go over to the Garden State Parkway, we have delays on the GSP northbound from north of 81 with two different accidents. North of 81, Lakehurst Road to north of Toms River Toll Plaza, Toms River. That's 3 miles of delays. And then this, if we do have that, what I talked, there you go. Thank you, Pam. This is Garden State Parkway northbound, south of exit 143 in Irvington to 145. 280 in East Orange is a 2.5 mile delay, and that is due to what you see there, the breakdown on the shoulder. Your approaches to the Hudson River right now, the Lincoln and Holland both reporting 30 to 35 minutes, both having issues coming off of the turnpike for whatever reason. And then over to the GWB upper and lower level is 40 to 45. That is just volume at this hour. You could see them crawling. That's the lower level approach of 8095. It'll cost you again 40 to 45 into Manhattan. 8:50 is our time, and Newark is taking a major step forward in expanding access to mental health care thanks to a powerful new community initiative. La Casa de Don Pedro has just opened El Barrio Wellness, a $1.2 million mental health center designed to specifically serve children, adults, and families with bilingual care. Peter Rosario is the president and CEO of La Casa de Don Pedro to talk about what this new center means for the community. We say good morning and welcome to you, Peter.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Ken.
You bet. So how did this facility first come about? What was the impetus behind it?
You know, I came to La Casa in the midst of COVID, and I think it became very evident that we were going to have a longer term issue with behavioral health. So, ironically enough, I was at a conference, and one of the practitioners said, I grew up in Newark. I'd love to be able to come back to Newark and open up a clinic at low or no cost. And I raised my hand, and anybody who knows, when La Casa Don Pedro says they want to do something, we tend to have a pretty good track record of doing it. It took us 2.5 years to secure the funding because we wanted to do this right, because we knew when we opened the floodgates, it was going to be such an important need in the community. And we're here just in time for the holidays, which, as everybody knows, if you don't know, aside from bad dad jokes and other kinds of trauma that are inflicted on our community, there is real trauma during the holidays. So that we feel like it's perfect timing to start up and open the center.
100% for so many reasons. People think nostalgically, they miss their loved ones, they think back to trauma they've had earlier in life, et cetera. And then financial issues. There are so many things that impact us emotionally at this time of the year. The center is located in the historic El Club del Barrio building. I speak Spanish too, as you could hear. So I say El Club,
Yes,
but I can't
absolutely.
just say El Club. I want to say El Club del Barrio
El
building.
Club
So
del
why?
Barrio, claro.
Sí, exacto, preciso. So why is it so important to bring that space back to life? Because that has a special meaning, right?
Yeah. Again, the Lincoln Park district, as the mayor said in the press conference, such a powerful district. Think of Washington Square Park in New York City. Think of Union Square. Think of historical landmarks. And El Club del Barrio started in the 80s. And if, again, speaking of things to reminisce about in the worst way possible, in the heart of the substance abuse crack had hit our center cities, AIDS epidemic, and El Club del Barrio was really the center there with an integrity house with the other social service providers to meet the needs at that time. So to come full circle and 40 years later to address mental health, I think it's a perfect kind of full circle moment for that building, for the community, and for Newark in general.
Absolutely. And tell us what your approach looks like with families at that center.
Sure. We call it the liberation health model in layman's terms, and I think in healthcare we've started to understand the whole idea of social determinants of health. That it's not about the choices that people make; it's about the choices they have available to them. So I think that's the first premise of the liberation health models in the simplest terms possible. The second tenet of that is basically the idea that mental health services need to be for us and by us, right? If your family has never faced the fear of deportation, how can you help address the trauma of someone whose family has faced deportation? So I think that's the second piece of it, understanding, right, the systemic barriers that we face. And then the third piece, like all of us, we have a culture, we have a religion, or we don't have a religion. We have a cultural background that we have to put into the context, because so many times when we face trauma, we just think about, oh, what did I do wrong? And there is liberation in breaking it down and saying, hey, hold on a second, let's talk about your piece of it, but let's understand the cultural and systemic barriers. So it's really that triangular approach to approaching mental health to support our families the best way we know how.
And you guys offer support for children, adults, and families, right? You do it all. What kinds of mental
Yes,
health
yep, we're
challenges are you
doing.
seeing right now?
Yep. We're supporting all. The only thing we can't do is 0 to 5 care, which that requires additional licensing and additional training. But basically, from school age all the way up through seniors is, and the irony of this, right, Ken, we all think of our seniors as the most stubborn, the most not wanting to do things. We actually are hearing that that's the population who's actually most seeking these services, right? Whether it's for themselves or for their children or for their grandchildren. So it's been an interesting dynamic that a lot of seniors have stepped forward and said, "Hey, I know somebody who needs help, or I need help dealing with the issues I'm going through."
That's a good thing too. The wise people who use their wisdom wisely. RWJ Barnabas Health and New Jersey Department of Children and Families also are partners. So how important has that been?
Uh, Again, I think it's been critical. It's a wise investment on both of their parts, right? The more we can get people to solve their problems sooner, the less we're going to spend down the road. And I think one of the things, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship, right? If we fight somebody who's in real trauma or real distress, we can get them to the hospital when needed. And the same thing, we don't want people going to the hospital, but now the hospital can make a call to us and say, "Hey, this person doesn't really need the hospital. They just need to talk to somebody." So, again, I think at the end of the day, we see it as an investment, a partnership, and making sure that, and going back to you tapping into one of the most trusted brands in Newark and probably in our state with La Casa Don Pedro. So people know us. It's not going to be like, "Oh, go to somebody," and they're like, "I don't know who that is." They're going to know the name La Casa Don Pedro and know that they're going to get the help that they need.
Peter, what's a website for more information?
Sure. Go to lacasadonpedro.org/El Barrio Wellness is probably the easiest way to do it. And there's also an El Barrio Wellness or a mental health website, but La Casa Don Pedro /El Barrio Wellness is the easiest way to do it.
Well, you're amazing for what you do. Peter Rosato, President and CEO of La Casa de Don Pedro, thank you for coming on this morning. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Happy Thanksgiving. And just for the record, turkey chili is my favorite kind of chili, and much preferred to regular turkey.
You're on.
I know Pam's
You're
going to be like,
coming
"Don't encourage him," but, we got to have a little humor at the end of this.
I'm with you. I'm with you, my friend. God bless you, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much.
You bet. 8:57, meteorologist Mike Favetta says sunny, windy today, highs upper 40s, and that is on New Jersey Mornings for your Monday, November 24th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning, bright and early, starting at 7 a.m. Till then, have a wonderful day. More recipes for Thanksgiving week each day, so catch us again tomorrow.